Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am broadcasting to you from Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a great day. Hi, Danish. Good to see you already in class, waiting for the lesson. Fantastic. Everyone, this is a members chat class for the academic task 1 writing. We will have a writing task 2 class that will be for everyone chat coming up in 90 minutes. So, of course, everybody is welcome to watch. Hi, Kisi. Hi, Hung. Hi, Parminder. Good to see more members joining in. For all of our viewers, our materials come from our websites, aehelp.com for the academic version of the IELTS exam, and gieltshelp.com for the general version. I'll just quickly show you those websites while we wait for some more members to join in on the class. This is our academic IELTS website. You can click that red Join Now button. It will bring up a payment form, and then you can log into your My Student account. In your My Student account, you will find loads of materials to help you improve your band scores, including interactive practice tests, fully online course, 6 original practice exams, over 100 hours of lesson videos, so lots there for you. For general students, make sure you're looking for this website with the green background. Same idea. Click that red button. All right. Hi, Caddy DMB. Hi, Rahul. Hi, Begzad. Hi, Alvina. Good to see more members. We will get into our lesson in just one moment here. If you have questions, comments, send me an email, Adrian, Adrian, at aehelp.com. And I will be happy to answer those questions. If you want our 6 original IELTS practice exams, they're exactly like the official test, the paper-based. You can get them in digital or paperback form from Amazon. Just search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. These are the exams we use in these live classes. All right, everyone. So today again, task 1, diagram, followed by task 2. Then tomorrow, members, we'll have a speaking part 2, and then we'll finish the task 2 essay with everyone after that. So look forward to those lessons. Here we go with writing task 1. So writing task 1, you should always do first. It should be the easier task for you. It's worth about 35% of your total mark for the writing section. So it's about a third, and it takes about a third of the time for the writing. You have 1 hour for the writing, take 20 minutes for task 1, 40 minutes for task 2. This is the question for today. It's kind of a fun one. This is coming from my area of expertise. I majored in psychology at the University of Victoria in British Columbia, Canada, and I thought I would do an interesting diagram lesson for task 1 today. Task 1 can be a diagram, pie chart, line graph, table, bar chart, flow chart, a map. Okay, map is a type of diagram. So make sure you practice all of those different types of essays. Hi, Ferdovs. Good to see you in class as well. All right, so here we go with the question, students. The following diagram shows the control areas for different body parts on the surface of the human brain. Describe the main features and make comparisons where relevant. You should write at least 150 words. All right. So, interesting diagram for today. Hopefully you'll enjoy this, and we'll work through it. You could get a diagram similar to this, absolutely, on the IELTS exam. As many of you probably learned or saw before, the IELTS diagrams do often have something on biology. So the life cycle of fish, the production cycle of silkworm. Those are from past exams. So biology diagrams do come up in the academic IELTS, so make sure you practice a few of them, okay? We don't have this diagram yet, Alvina, on our website, but we will be making additions to our website to include some of these diagrams also, okay? All right, so let's take a quick peek at the diagram. This is what it looks like, all right? Can everybody see that clearly? I know the letters might be a little bit small, but that's okay. They just describe the body parts. Members, can you see that clearly? The diagram itself? What it's actually, the picture at least? Ferdovs, you said no. Why, Ferdovs? What's the problem that you're having? Begzod says yes. Ferdovs in Danish say no. What's the problem that you're having? Danish and Ferdovs, no? Do you want it a little bit darker maybe? Is it too bright? You don't have to see the words yet, just the picture. I'm asking just about the picture. Here. It's a little bit blurry, okay. Well, let me try to get it into focus. That's also the stream, Alvina. There's not much I can do about that. So that's, you know, streaming, still a developing technology. You're not going to get high definition. All right, so that's about as clear as I can get it. I can zoom in so you can see the other parts, but basically, don't stress too much about it. It'll make sense in a moment. So here you have a top view of the human head showing the brain. Here you have the left side. Do you know what that's called? This side of the brain? What do you call that in English? Anybody? So we have the left and the right. What? What is that called? It's not too complex. It's the same word for the left side of planet Earth and the right side of planet Earth. That's right, Danish. It's called the left hemisphere. Very good. Hemisphere is a good academic word to know if you're discussing the brain or the planet Earth as well. We use that. So hemisphere. Sphere, students, means circle, and hemi means half. So left half circle, right? It makes sense. Left hemisphere, right hemisphere. Okay, so this is the left hemisphere of the brain, and this is the right hemisphere of the brain. Now, these two colorful parts here, anybody know what that's called? If you know a little bit of biology and English, this band, it's this part that goes kind of from ear to ear over your head. Anybody know what that's called? It controls your muscles, your feelings. It's called the, it's not tricky, it makes sense when you know it. It's called the motor cortex. Okay, cortex meaning the region of the brain, and motor meaning for movement. So it's the motor cortex, okay? You don't need to know this level of technicality, but if you know some of these words, again, I said this in a previous class, it's good to learn basic biology in English for many reasons in life, for health reasons, medical reasons, and for university and IELTS as well, okay? Begzod, if you don't know, so Begzod's asking a really good question. Begzod says, what if I don't know such word for the exam? Then just use what you know. You can still get a very good band score, Begzod, even a 9. You could just say the green band, okay? So the green stripe, or the green band, or the blue band. You don't need to say motor cortex or sensory cortex, okay? Yeah. Hung says it's the primary motor cortex. Yeah, I mean, that's fancy if you know it, great. But Begzod, if you don't, that's okay. You can just say the motor cortex. Now, when I zoom in, you will know that, Begzod, because it's labeled on the diagram, okay? So I'll show that to you in just a second. I'll move around the diagram a little bit so you can see the details a bit more. So notice how here it's blue, here it's green, Again, sometimes students, when they see a diagram like this on the exam, they panic. They freak out. They're like, I don't know about the human brain. I didn't learn it even in my own language. And they freak out and they think it's the end of the world and they're going to do a terrible job in the writing section. But it's not true, okay? Step one, don't panic, okay? Don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out. Don't panic. It's okay. Just pay attention to what you see and pay attention to the labels. Okay, I'm actually going to make a note of that because too often I see students panicking and freaking out when they see an unusual or complex diagram. Okay, so please don't do that. All right, it's designed so you should be able to write about it. So this is a big tip, number one here. When you see an unusual or complex diagram, do not freak out. Don't go all crazy, okay? Do not freak out. Stay calm and focus on A, what you see, the features. I'll show you that in a second with this. And B, the labels. Okay, what you read. All right, so just stay calm. It's okay. You'll do fine. Believe me. Okay, here we go. So remember how you said, oh, I don't know those words. So here you can see that with the green, it's showing you primary somatosensory area. I think you can read that, right? Members now clearly that I zoomed in. So it says primary somatosensory area. So it's basically showing you that this green band is called the primary somatosensory area. And then when I go to the other side here, okay, then it shows you that the blue band is the primary motor area. Those are the divisions of the motor cortex. So in your brain, that's what the motor cortex is divided into. So that's why, students, just an interesting side note, when somebody suffers a head injury, a hit to the head, if they damage this central part of the head, the coronal part of the head, then they can lose control of their muscles and their feelings in their fingers and arms, okay? All right. So if I move around a little bit more in the diagram, let me just show you this here. You can see that here we have the foot, the toes, the leg, the knee, the hip, the trunk of the body. Trunk of the body is this part of the body. We have the neck, arm, elbow, wrist. Great diagram to help you review or learn the parts of the body. Fingers, we have the thumb over here. We have the brow, the eyebrow. Of course, the eyebrow. If I go close, this is the eyebrow here that I can move up and down. Eyes, face, lips, jaw. Then we have a nice big area here for tongue and for swallowing, right? Swallowing is active. We actively swallow, okay? And then on the other side, we have a very, very similar representation. So going from the toes and the foot all the way up to the hand, the head, the face, and those parts of the body. Okay. All right, good. So we have a good look at the diagram. Let's start writing. What is the first step? What should we do? So step number one, we should start writing the overview, right? For all of our viewers, the task one essay is made up of 3 parts. Okay. The 3 parts are the overview, which is 3 to 4 sentences. It's the analysis after, or analyses for plural, which is anywhere from 6 to 10 sentences. And then for those of you who are really good writers and looking for a band 9, include a summary, which is 1 to 2 sentences. Okay? And the overview is what? What should be included in the overview? How do we make a good overview? So how do we put together a good overview? What do we need to include? In Danish, you're right. We start with the overview. So what do we have in the overview? How do I write an overview that makes sure that I'm going towards a nice high band 7, 8, 9 response? Gurkharat, a lot of students have this confusion. Gurkharat's saying firstly the intro and then the overview. Intro and the overview are the same. Students, it's really strange for me. I don't know who's teaching this, that these are different parts, but an overview is an introduction. When I give an overview to an idea, concept, an argument, an explanation, like in this situation, that is my introduction. Okay? If I give a presentation and I discuss what we will be doing in the class, what we will focus on, I'm giving you the overview. At the same time, I'm giving you the introduction. So for expository writing, expository essays, the overview is the introduction. Okay? I've seen a lot of students get confused by that, Gurkharat. Intro is the overview. Okay? It is the overview. Yes, Rahul. Very good. Yes, Caddy. It's the paraphrasing with the more details. Caddy, a better way to think about this is what Rahul says, that we have to paraphrase with giving more details. So paraphrasing the question and giving some more details as well as the main features, right? So overview is the introduction, students. Don't get confused by strange lessons. I don't know where students are getting this idea that overview and introduction are two different ideas, but it's the same. Weirds me out. Makes me a little bit worried about what some teachers are saying to students. Okay, so the overview is the introduction. It includes a paraphrase of the question with details. And then it also includes one other element, which is the main observable feature. Okay, sometimes a couple of features. So let's do that. All right. So here it says the following diagram shows the control areas for different body parts on the surface of the human brain. Okay, paraphrase that for me. Give me a paraphrase of that in your own words as well as you can. So state this in your own words, all right, and give some details. Okay. I'm going to do the same, so I'll paraphrase right here. And then, you know what, I'll grab this question and I'll copy it below here so you can see the paraphrase as I'm doing it. You should do the same, okay? So divided into two parts, the primary motor area and the primary somatosensory area, okay? All right, so there's my paraphrase. Again, you can do it with as much or as little complexity as your English skills allow. The key is to have a paraphrase with details. If you don't know all of these technical words, it's okay. You can use simpler words, all right? So Alvina says, or Alvina asks, Alvina's asking, by the way, I have a question. One teacher told me that articles are not counted, but I found info that they are counted. So is it true that articles a and are, or you mean a, are is, okay, sorry, I see. And the. Yeah, articles are counted, Alvina. Articles are words. So the way we count words, Alvina, is just the same as Microsoft Word does. So if it's a word, it's counted. A is a word. The is a word. And overusing articles, Alvina, is not good. So if you use too many and the, it's not good. You need to use the right amount. Really good writing, Alvina, has a very specific usage for articles. So that's kind of another topic, but they are counted, Alvina. Absolutely, we count articles as words. Okay, and don't overuse them. All right. Okay. How many words should the overview be? Anywhere from 30 to 50 words, even depending on your skill level. I think somebody was just asking how many words should that be. Okay, Kesey says, the given human brain blueprint depicts the right and left hemispheres control of different body parts of the body. Kesey, very good. Really nice paraphrase. Okay, so good job, Kesey, on that first sentence. Again, Kesey says, the given human brain blueprint depicts the right and left hemispheres control of different parts of the body. So just the one missing of there, Kesey, but otherwise a really nice paraphrase. I really like it. Good job, Kesey. I'm always amazed at how your English is really progressing day by day, so keep it up. All right, Begzod says, this blueprint depicts the management areas for various body parts on the exterior side of the human brain, which is divided into two parts. Begzod, brilliant. That's a Band 9 paraphrase, okay? That's absolutely a Band 9 paraphrase. So, see, you can do it. Okay, you can do it. It looks complex, but it's not. Just keep it simple in your mind. Okay, I know simple sounds easy, but it's not the same idea. It takes practice. Preeti says the picture shows two different parts, left and right hemispheres, of the human brain, which controls the different body's organs. It's true, Preeti, that it controls the organs as well to some extent, but mostly the organs are controlled by the medulla oblongata. It's another part of the brain. These are the actual body parts, the muscles. It's the motor cortex. Organs like the heart, the lungs, they're controlled by your brain stem down here, which is the medulla oblongata. That's a different part of the brain. So careful there, Preeti. It's not body organs, but body parts. Otherwise, it's a good paraphrase, Preeti. Hung says the brain blueprint depicts the primary function of different body parts according to various areas. Okay, Hung, I think it's a little bit confusing the way you're using the verbs. The brain blueprint depicts the primary control of different body parts according to various areas on the surface of the left and right hemisphere. That would be more accurate, Hung. So not function, but control. Here, those two words cannot paraphrase each other. Okay. Parminder Handa, good to see you in class, says the given picture of the human brain provides information about the control center for various body parts on its surface, which are divided into two parts, primary motor and somatosensory. Very good, Parminder. That works. Yuru Meng, good to see you in class, says the diagram demonstrates command zones. Very nice, Yuru. Let me just finish that up, Yuru. So the diagram demonstrates command zones for various body parts on the surface of the human brain, divided into two regions, primary motor and somatosensory area. Yeah, okay, that works. You're really nice paraphrasing. Command zones, sure, why not? That works, all right. For Dobbs, looking good as well. The blueprint indicates the control system of various human body parts, dividing it into primary somatosensory and primary motor areas. Nice. Okay, and then we have Danish and Alvina. They both look good. I have to move on so that we can continue with the essay, but I will get to your next responses, okay? So that's the first sentence for the overview. Now, don't forget the second sentence, which is the main feature, okay? So what do we notice, all right? So what's the main feature? We already described that it's divided into these two regions, the primary somatosensory and the motor area. What interesting information can we see about this control mechanism before we even look at the details? So we don't need to see the words. Okay, this is what I always encourage you to do. You can always see the main feature without reading words. So what do we notice right away? What interesting piece of information pops out at us right away as soon as we look at this diagram? We're like, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Gurkrat, no worries, of course. You got to do what you got to do. I hope you have a great day at work. Yeah, okay, so there's a few different key features that we notice right away. Begzod says that the same body parts can be found in both areas. Yeah, so we see all of the same body parts in the motor area as the sensory area, right? Sensory area is for feeling, and motor area is for actually controlling. So if you hit your hand, the feeling you get, that's the green area on the back part. And being able to move your hand, that's the blue area. So yeah, both areas have all of the same body parts represented. That's a very good observation, Bagzod. Simple, clear. Yersalem says that the human brain is equally divided into two. So you have an equal representation on both the left and the right hemispheres. That's true also, Yersalem. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, Preeti, frontal and parietal, not bone, but lobe. It's called lobe. I don't think that connects here. All right, sure. Okay, so we have both. That's great. We can start with that. What else do you notice? Students, what else? What are some other interesting details? Okay. So only report what you see in the diagram. Students, even if you know biology or psychology, you shouldn't start writing information that you don't see in the diagram. It's a very important tip for part one, and I'll write that up in a second. But let's just write that second piece of information down that many of you said, and then we'll get into some deeper analysis. So at first glance, it is clear that both the somatosensory and motor areas have control of the same body parts. Of mostly the same body parts, right? There's a couple small differences. Right? When we look at it in more detail, right? Okay, so of mostly the same body parts, sure, that works. Okay, all right, so again, remember this really important tip. Many students make this mistake that they start writing information which is not clearly visible in task one. So this is another really important tip, again, to get those high band scores and to avoid awkward mistakes, okay? And this is true for line graphs, pie charts, okay? So tip number 2, since this is an expository essay, it's not an opinion, or an argument, you should only report and explain, compare, contrast information that is clearly observable in the diagram, table, chart, and so on. Okay, so don't add your own information. Okay, do not add your own knowledge, even if you know about it. Information. All right, you'll run out of time to actually describe what you can see. Okay, so here's our overview, and this overview works well. So this biology blueprint depicts the control centers for the various parts of the human body on the cerebrum of the central nervous system, divided into two parts, primary motor and somatosensory area. At first glance, it is clear that both the somatosensory and motor areas have control of most of the same body parts. Sure, okay. Bagzod says, immediately it becomes clear that the human brain is not only separated into two similar areas, but also has almost the same body parts in both hemispheres. Absolutely. And many of you probably know that the brain crosses information. So your left hand arm is actually controlled by your right hemisphere, and your left hemisphere controls your right arm. So this side controls this side controls this side. Again, that's just some interesting information for you, but don't report on information that you're that's extra or not given. Okay, so let's do the analysis. Okay, so great. Let's mark our points. Now we know that when we get to the body paragraph, the analyses, we need to discuss what's going on here. So we need to move through it. All right, so even before I zoom in and move around, what do I notice? So here are, again, so here's the toes, the foot, the leg, okay, the arm, the elbow, the forearm, the fingers, the thumb, and then here's the head. What's interesting about this? So think logically, think simply. Don't overdo it. Look at the pictures first. The labels are details. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So by looking at the pictures, we can get our comparisons going first. Okay, so here's the foot. Here's the head. What's interesting about that? Okay, there's definitely some interesting points about the face. Yeah, Danish, very good. So Danish says, look, guys, the picture is going from the bottom to the top. So a human being, right, is, here's our feet, okay, our body, our arms, and our head. So our head is here, and our feet are down here. But look at on the brain. It's interesting. We flipped around, right? So your point number one could simply be that the body parts, interestingly, are represented inverse from the real orientation of the human body, right? So it starts with the feet and ends with the head. So you're kind of flipped upside down on the human brain. That's kind of interesting. So that could be your point number one. What else do we notice here? Okay, so what is another major observation when we look at this diagram? Okay, so that could be number one. Okay, so I could write for the analysis. Now, for all of our viewers, you don't write analysis in the actual exam. I'm just doing that to show you the different parts of the essay. So immediately, it is clear that the human body is inverted on the motor cortex. starting with the feet and ending with the head. Okay, what else do I notice right away by looking at the picture? So what else is right away something that's like, oh, okay, that's very different? Yep, Danish, that's fine. What else do we notice? So keep it simple. When you look at this diagram, look at the sizes of the representations. What do you notice right away? So, I mean, it should pop out at you, right? I think Alvina said it, like, look at the face. It looks really weird. Why does it look so strange? Why are the lips so fat? Look at the hand. Look at the size of the thumb. Look at the arm. Look at how small it is. Look at how small the body is. Look at the feet. Okay? In fact, the entire leg, knee, and foot is the same size as the thumb. Okay? What's going on there? What can we say about that? So we're not comparing yet. We're not contrasting. We're still just reporting the main features. So Danish, yeah, some parts are small and some parts are big, right? Can you explain that a little bit clearer for me? So what do you mean some parts are small, some parts are big? So teeth and gums controlled by the right part of the brain. Some parts are more sensitive. Okay, again, be careful not to assume. Okay, Rahul says as compared to the others. Sure. So give me some more information. Explain it in a simple way. Again, students, remember, you don't have to know a lot of English to explain this. You just have to use the English that you know well. Okay? I think you're trying to think in too much detail. So you're trying to overthink it. Big parts mean that people use them to show their emotions. Not necessarily. Yeah, your solemn, there you go. So your solemn's keeping it a little bit simpler. Your solemn says the parts that play a major role are represented in bigger than the other ones, or parts that move more, right? So remember, the human thumb, it's one of the parts of the body that makes us very special in the animal kingdom. It's called the opposable thumb, right? We can touch all of our fingers. Even monkeys can't do that. That's why we can play the piano. It's called an opposable thumb because we can oppose the other fingers, right? So opposable thumb. And that's why we have such a huge part of our brain used to control the thumb. That's why it hurts so much when we hit our thumb with a hammer, right? It hurts like heck when we hit our thumb. So we can see that the size of the control center on the brain for different body parts varies, and it's different from the actual sizes in the physical world, right? So, of course, my leg is much larger than my thumb, yet on my brain, the control area for my thumb is about the same size as the control area for my entire leg. Now, you just have to put that into simple words, okay? So when you realize that, you're like, oh, wait a second. These areas look very different on the brain. Just put it into simple words, okay? Alvina, not organs, okay? Organs means like heart or lungs or liver. We have a different control mechanism for that, okay? So put it into your own words. So say that in your own words. I'll let you write this sentence, okay? So this will be our point number 2. It's another one of the main features, the different sizes of body parts represented by different sizes on the surface of the human brain. Give me one good sentence which clearly describes this main feature. Okay, I'll do the same. While you write that down, I'll do the same. Try to focus on what you're writing instead of paying attention to what I'm writing. Okay. All right. Let's see what you have. All right. Again, you'll notice as I've written down this description, it's not that complicated. Okay. And I can actually simplify this even more. So I know what some of you might be thinking. I know that some of you are thinking, well, Adrian, that's not really fair because English is your native language. You did university in English. You studied psychology, biology. So of course you know how to write this. It'd be terrible if you didn't. And I guess that's what you're thinking. But it's not true, okay? Even if my major weren't psychology, and I do speak two other languages, Hungarian and Japanese, I could use simpler language to explain the same logic in those languages to describe what I see, okay? So again, it's focusing on using the right language and the right interpretation for task one. That's the magic, okay? For Dobbs, it says, notably, human body parts did not indicate in true proportions what they should be in reality. For Dobbs, very good. Okay, excellent. That's a band 758 writing for Dobbs, easily. All right, you've noticed that feature, and you've written about it. Fantastic. Kesey says the bigger size of body parts on the picture have much more sensitive space on the surface of the brain. Okay, Kesey, a tiny bit confusing, but not bad. I can still get what you're saying, and it's still a band 657. Okay, sentence, just that one sentence. All right. Begzod says, when looking at the diagram, it is clear that the human brain controls the body parts inversely from toe to head. Begzod, that's for the previous sentence. Very good. Okay, again, that is absolutely a band 8 level writing. And then Begzod continues with, additionally, the diagram represents the parts which humans use often in much bigger size, which means that the head does more actions compared to the toes. Very good, Begzod, and that's what I'm talking about. So comparing the head to the toes, there you have your first comparison, the much bigger size. Fantastic, okay? Again, don't let these diagrams scare you. Just take it simply one step at a time, all right? Your Salam says, it is clear that the size of various body parts of the body depend on its function and role. Yeah, your Salam. And there you're not inferring or suggesting much by any means because it's clear, right? The face, the head, we move it around. It's got a lot of movement, sure. Rahul says, immediately, it is noteworthy that the human body parts shown in the diagram have different proportions as compared to the real body size, which indicates more command on specific body parts. Rahul, that's band 9. Okay, that's a band 9 writing right there. All right, very good. Preeti says some body parts are bigger than others because they work more, and also it takes more space on the surface. Again, Preeti, very good. So students, this is what I mean. Once you have the right idea, you think it through, you can compose simpler or more complex sentences with vocabulary, and they can all get band 7, band 8, band 9 marks or bands. Just don't make grammar mistakes, and you'll do fine, okay, as long as you have the right information. Yuru says the areas of different body parts take up different amounts of area on the brain, and they're not proportional to their actual physical sizes. Yeah, Yuru, very good. Okay, a little bit of grammar, Yuru, a little bit of grammar. But otherwise, you're right. Okay, you're on the right track as well. This is what I wrote. So have a peek here. As well, it is evident that body parts which demand a greater amount of control and sensation take up more space on the surface of the brain. And this is not proportional to the actual size of those body parts. This means that the thumb is a large part on the surface of the motor cortex. However, the leg is relatively small. So using the subordinating conjunction, however, using the specific thumb versus the leg. All right, does that make sense? So honestly, members, do you find that that's really difficult or really confusing? It's so-so, or yeah, it's not so bad. So not so bad, so-so, or really difficult to do that. What's your feeling on this? So I want to make sure that we're on the same page, and I'm not out to lunch and expecting you to do too much once you have the right idea, once you're observing the diagram clearly. What's your feeling on it? Feedback is just as important for me to give you good lessons as it is for the motor cortex of the brain to control your hands, your eyebrows, your mouth, your nose, efficiently or effectively. Ferdovs says, yeah, that goes very well. All right, thanks, Ferdovs. Yeah, I can tell, Ferdovs, from your responses that when you get the idea. Okay. So Begzod says, yeah, after we get a clear picture, it's not so difficult. Yeah, Begzod. So no, sir, really not difficult now after getting a clear picture. Yersalim says, I think it takes time to analyze such details. Yersalim, you're absolutely right. You are. Okay, I agree. It takes time. That's why you have to practice these kinds of diagrams at home. And that's usually what I hear many students complaining about, is that, oh, I get it once I see the example, but when I'm in the real test, I freeze and I don't know what I'm doing. So again, just remember my tip, all right? What I said before. You see a picture like this, don't panic. Take a deep breath, look at it carefully. The picture is more important than the words, okay? Students way too often start reading the words and don't see the picture. Anybody know what the idiom is for that? Hung says, I feel it's difficult. To be honest, I can't get the point. Don't worry, Hung. Just stick with it, okay? Review this lesson a couple times. I'm sure you'll pick it up. Again, here, all we're doing, Hung, is we're just looking at this diagram. We're reporting what we see, the main features, and then we're making some comparisons that we can see in the diagram. Okay? So anybody know the idiom when people get lost in details and don't see the main ideas or the general ideas? Okay? The idiom is you missed the forest by looking at the tree. Okay? So this is so going back to my tip. Okay, and this is kind of connected to tip number 1. So I'm going to add it in as tip 1B. Okay, so tip 1B. Do not miss the forest by looking at the tree. Okay? It's kind of the idiom. It means that you're looking at the details and you miss the main ideas. Do not miss the bigger ideas or points by getting lost in details. And what this means for you is that pictures are much more valuable than labels. Okay? And that means look at the picture first and labels second. Okay? I think what a lot of students do when they get to these task ones is they focus in on the labels. So they start going, okay, primary somatosensory area. All right, there's the eye, there's the nose, the lips, the teeth, and the gums. And they've completely missed the fact that the lips are huge. And the nose and the eye are much smaller compared to the lips, right? Yeah, you're solemn. Very good. That's another idiom. Yeah, and that's how you know you're solemn, that this is a common difficulty for many people around the world. It's part of human nature that we actually have multiple idioms for the same difficulty that people have in their thinking. Your solemn just gave us the second idiom, which says, miss the moon while counting the stars. Yeah, absolutely, your solemn. That's another one. Is you can't see the forest because you're lost looking at the tree, or you miss the moon while counting the stars. Absolutely. It's the same idea, just a different idiom. Thank you for sharing that, your solemn. Okay. So again, don't make that mistake. That's a very dangerous mistake for task one diagrams and charts, is getting lost in details and missing the moon, as your solemn said. Yeah. All right. So what would be another comparison? Okay. Here. So let's do one more together. Okay. So what else is interesting? What else is a similarity? So one, we've talked about the fact that it's flipped around. We start at the legs and the head is at the bottom. We've talked about the fact that certain body parts, they're not proportional. They're much bigger or much smaller. Okay, what else can we talk about? What else is another comparison that we can state? Okay, any other interesting comparison? So look at the left and right sides. I'll give you a hint. Compare the left side with the right side, and you'll notice that there's a couple of really interesting differences. Okay, even just looking at the picture. So yeah, okay, very good. So Bagzod says that, hey, wait a second, there's no teeth on the left side, on the motor area, but we have teeth on the right side. Notice the lips are much bigger here too. And the lips are much smaller here. Why is that? Why do you think that some are, represented differently? Okay, so here, if I zoom in, you can see that in the motor area, there's swallowing. And then on this side, it says pharynx. It doesn't say swallowing. Okay. And on this side, it says brow. But on this side, there's no brow. It's just eyes. So why is that? Roshni says one side there's girl's portion. No, Roshni, definitely not. It's going to be very similar here for men and women for the most part. Okay. Why do you think you have teeth on one side and not on the other side? Let me ask you this. Can you move your teeth? Yeah, Bagzod, very good. Teeth are a sensory part, right? If I hit my teeth, it hurts. Ow. That hurts, right? If I tap my teeth, it hurts. Can I move my teeth? Can I make them wiggle? Go. That would be a pretty neat magic trick, right? Yeah, Yuru says some parts of the body don't have movement, right? Teeth don't move. I hope not. Okay. If they're moving. That's a bad sign. So parts of the body that don't need motor control are only represented in the somatosensory area, such as the teeth, right? So let's write a sentence about that. Okay. So when looking at the diagram in greater detail, it becomes obvious that parts of the body which do not move, such as the teeth, are only represented on the somatosensory cortex and not the motor cortex, or not the motor area. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, of course. Parts of the body that need movement, you have it on the motor cortex. Parts of the body that don't, they're not going to be represented there. Okay. Now, I could make that trickier and say, while some parts of the body that lack sensation, like the eyebrows don't have a lot of feelings in it. You don't really see it on the somatosensory. You do actually have some sensation there, but it's very, very minimal. Okay, members, I hope you get the idea. Here's your homework. Add a couple more. So you should be able to add at least one or two more details here. So homework, add two more details or comparisons. Just so you're clear, there's at least 4 or 5 more that I can see right away. Now, you don't have to see all 5 of them, but you should be able to catch 2 more clear comparisons here, okay? So add 2 more comparisons to the analysis and write the summary. That's your homework. I'll give you a 1-day head start, and then on Saturday, I'll post the full essay in the comment section. Is that fair? Okay. Would you agree that that's fair way to do it? Here's the picture again. And you can go back and look at this diagram once the video is up on the channel. Okay. Again, don't overcomplicate. Okay, Rahul says fair and square. Very good expression, Rahul. Absolutely. All right, students. Again, 30 minutes. Task 2 coming up. That's going to be for everybody. Task 2, kind of the same for academic and general. So make sure to tune in. It'll be a new type of Task 2 question. Again, for those essays, members, send them to adrian@aehelp.com. Students who have questions about our products or about the exam, send those questions to the same email, adrian@aehelp.com. Make sure to visit our websites. We have lots and lots of help for your writing in the full course. So here I'm logged in again, and here's another part of our website. I'll enlarge that. You can kind of see it real quick as I'm wrapping up here. There's that Task 1, Task 2 button in your My Student account. When you click on that, you can actually find several questions for each, and you can practice writing them on the website, and then you can send them to us for editing and for marking. So definitely use that function of the website as well. Okay. All right, students, that's it for now. You've done a great job. Again, remember these tips that I said. Don't panic. Stay focused. Focus on the picture first, on the labels, the words second. Okay? Join us at aehelp.com for academic and gieltshelp.com for general. Bye for now. Hopefully see you in 30 minutes.